What's up, guys? Before we jump into the video today, I want to let you know that my code ESPRESSO is 30% off your entire order over at gfuel.com. Whether you want to restock on a tub or two or just try out a sample pack or maybe the new cans releasing, you can get an increased discount until the 14th. Check the link in the description below if you're interested, but now back to the regular scheduled content. There's a few key things missing from Modern Warfare and Warzone in particular. Some we've been following or hearing about for a few months now, others seem to be common sense asking of, well, where is it? But the underlying time frame for all of these items seem to be coming up in the relatively near future, all within Season 3 and most likely even within the next few weeks. Today we're going to be discussing a handful of items and additions coming to Warzone and Modern Warfare as a whole, things including an update on the new Mastery Camo that's coming, the prospect of duos, a potential map update coming, and more. So that said, as we go along, one of our topics of this video is map additions. If you could add one classic zone from the Modern Warfare universe into Warzone, what would it be and where would you position it on the map? As well, if you are new to the channel, do be sure to hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already to stay up to date with all things Warzone and Modern Warfare on a daily basis. We'll keep you posted on absolutely anything and everything you need to know. That said, let's get into it. Let's start out with the most definitive of information here, that falling on the topic of the new Mastery Camo. Now, this has been mentioned for a little bit of time now, dating back to February 13th as it's first mentioned, so almost actually 2 months exactly. But Joel Emsley, studio art director at Infinity Ward, mentioned on a thread comparing the adjusted platinum camo at that time, saying the weapons team has been putting in max effort into unlockable camo skins to get you guys a happy place with the camos you're grinding out. We also implemented a fix for some of the shinier weapons glaring out in certain spots, put a lot of attention on the lobby road so that weapons are showcased on your operators and have the proper amount of light, and the big part of it, we have a very special new skin we are working on to be added later when it's ready. I'll try and give you guys a heads up when we are getting close. He then later on went to mention that it would be an additional camo, they wouldn't remove something in place of this, and that it would be an unlockable, earnable camo. And he closed off the mention of this a couple of weeks later, saying that it should be coming at the end of what is now last month or early this month. Now, unfortunately, the timetables of development seemingly have shifted, where we're into mid-April and going into late April by the next time we'll see any update of any larger standard, and we still haven't seen a preview of it, and we still don't have it, obviously. Though, fortunately, as of recently, we have had a few updates. First, let's talk about how this camo will be earned. We knew that it would be a Mastery Camo, but not until yesterday did we have any details about it. My friend Newbie ended up asking Joel Emsley and Joe Secott about this on Twitter with a tweet saying, "I'm just wondering when we'll learn more about the new Mastery Camo and Weapon Mastery challenges. Since I'm a grinder, it just piques my interest and I'm curious about when it will be added or when I can learn more about it." To which Joe replied, "It should be in the mid-season update. It will require gold to be unlocked for the weapon before it will progress. It will take a long time." As a follow-up, there was also a reply from Joe mentioning that the new Mastery Camo is weapon-specific, not requiring Damascus and not requiring you to conform to any weapon classes of getting weapons platinum before, like ARs and SMGs and such, but only requiring gold on the weapon that you wish to use the new Mastery on, and once you get that gold, you can then progress through the challenges for the upper Mastery Camo. Now, the timing looks to be in the mid-season update, which we don't have any specific time given to us and guaranteed, but if I were to guess, that's in about 3 weeks' time now at this point. On Tuesday, May 5th, making it the 4th week of Modern Warfare Season 3, and also the exact halfway point of the 8-week season. So with items usually being introduced in that sort of halfway point in the past, just to keep the season a little bit more fresh so that you're not top heavy on everything and giving everything up front, then for the next 8 weeks, players are just kind of left like, do I really need to play? It brings players back and keeps them more engaged. So I would expect the 5th maybe to be that time frame for it. And curiously enough, it actually might not be the only thing we end up getting in that update or at that exact time. Because while we do have the prospect of a new Mastery Camo, and that's absolutely awesome, another feature that players have been waiting for is the dubbed Frankensmith feature, which will allow you to combine weapon blueprints and make your own sort of custom one out of the designs that may be specific to each of those attachments in each of those blueprints. The timing of this has kind of been up in the air and up in question for a little bit of time now. It seemed like the Mastery Camo was likely the first of those two things to come, but as of recently, it's kind of been swapped back and forth because we saw that there was Gunsmith Customs on the actual Season 3 roadmap with no mention of a new camo, but now it seems like we do have a little bit more clarity, to which Joel Emsley over on Reddit ended up saying, "I'm getting called out for being inconsistent on this stuff. Sorry about that. The Mastery Camo and Frankensmithing Gunsmith Customs are in the same update. I'm not sure of the exact timing, so I'll just go with in Season 3 so I don't cause any more confusion. The Weapon Mastery calling cards are in the process and not far behind. I hope that answers your questions." So with Joe Secott's confirmation addition of the Mastery Camo coming in the mid-season update, we can now kind of lump this in there as well. We'll be getting both of those, my guess, presumably on May 5th. So to me, that's some pretty cool additions. Whether or not this is the bigger update that will then end up having Hard Hat and that new LMG coming later in season, we'll have to wait and see, but it is something we'll be getting that in just a few weeks' time. So it's not too far off and should be something finalized that we hear a little bit more of in the future. But let's jump over to exclusively the Warzone side of things now, because we do have the prospect of duos as well as map changes to discuss here with this, which there's some interesting information and some interesting theories out there right now as to what we'll see and when we may see it. Let's start out with the prospect of duos, because this one has some more substantial evidence to it. Duos is currently the only game mode missing from Warzone, in at least in the BR sense. We have solos, we have the standard trios, and we now have quads, but we don't have the ability for just two friends to just simply play against other teams of two. That's the only thing missing right now, but we ended up seeing actually the Call of Duty website with the launch of Season 3 showcase a section called New Modes, to which we had quads, duos, and then listed and more throughout the season. Now, there's two things in particular that I find interesting from this now removed piece of the website for Modern Warfare and Warzone. Firstly, the fact that it showcases and confirms duos are going to be coming throughout the season at some point. I think we could all make that inference that it would be coming, but we didn't actually have the full confirmation as to when. But the other interesting part is that 2 of 3 of these background images are specifically for Warzone, but the duos background images is the brand new map of Sawmill. And if we're taking that same logic, Sawmill isn't in the Warzone map. It doesn't adhere to any particular location in farmland, in lumber. It doesn't fit and it's not in there currently, but the actual file image was named S3 Duos, even though it was still, again, an image of Sawmill. So that maybe leads then into the idea of more zones coming within Warzone and what we end up seeing expanded upon or maybe added into existing areas, whatever it may be. So maybe we end up seeing Sawmill come at some point as a part of the Warzone map, but let's talk about big, grand alterations here, because while the last thing we'll talk about here in this video doesn't have any hard evidence to say, yes, this is definitively coming, it's an interesting theory that I think may at least point to some idea of what may be happening in the future. The Season 3 launch has come and gone for Modern Warfare and subsequently Warzone. Players had maybe the idea that we may see some sort of live event or some alteration to the map with Season 3, but that never turned out to be the case. But at the same time, we're still kind of in the infancy stages of Warzone, where the game mode is trying to find its footing, trying to find the right balancing and such, and so therefore we may see these alterations and larger live events happen, not necessarily immediately, but more so when the game is stable and everything else is kind of situated. But with so much area on the map, with so many classics that could be pulled in from the Modern Warfare universe, I think it's kind of an assumption that we'll see some map changes and some either additions or maybe whole-scale adjustments like we saw whenever, say, Blackout's map flooded. And talking about flooding, that's actually not a bad idea, because one current rumor asserts the idea that the brand new Season 3 loading screen flyby images showcasing the dam, that may be a teaser for what's to come in the Warzone map, where maybe the dam breaks or starts to leak and then adds a few more elements, altering what may be at the bottom of that dam, altering some paths of movement and things like that. Now, how viable of an answer this may be, I really don't know, because right now Warzone and Modern Warfare doesn't have the ability or functionality to swim. As soon as you step in water, you're dead. It's pretty funny to think about if you ask me. We're playing as these elite soldiers, but the moment their toe steps in water, they're dead. But jokes aside, if that were the case where the dam were to break or burst, if you're going to introduce an element like that, it's going to drastically alter the shape and the feel of the map and how it plays. Now, admittedly, I do think it'd be really cool to see, say, the dam thaw out so that come currently springtime, it's no longer frozen over, and we see these seasonal map changes that alter the entire ecosystem and environment of the world that we have to play on. I think that'd be really cool, but is this the answer that we may end up seeing? I don't know how much I buy into it. I think it's a very interesting theory, but I don't know if I would expect the dam to burst and completely change the entire map. I would love to be wrong, but again, with that whole element of not being able to swim, that proves to be a tall task for development and play. Now, if it's something where, say, the dam bursts in a live event and then we see a cutscene where the dam bursts and then the bunkers open up for our characters to take shelter in, and then maybe they come back out and the dam is kind of more so transformed into a waterfall with a steady flow of water cascading over the side and then kind of either collecting at the base to form a lake lake, or maybe then we have a flowing river where bridges are built over top of it for easy ways of access to get from one side to the other. That'd be really cool, and I think I'd be all for that one. But again, it's just way too theoretical and way too early to tell. But that's the theory going around right now, but the other stuff is more so confirmed. Stuff that we see with the new Mastery Camo, with the Frankensmithing, and also the new Duos game mode coming at some point in the relatively near future. But wanted to keep you guys up to date with everything you need to know within Modern Warfare and Warzone, so that's where we're gonna wrap it up. I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. What do you think here of this? Again, what map or portion of the map would you add into Warzone? Where and what would it be? And also, what do you think here of this idea that maybe the dam breaks? Do you buy into it? Do you think it's something that would happen? Maybe not. Whatever it is, feel free to let me know your thoughts. But hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare and Warzone content. And also, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected outside of YouTube. Practice on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.